Hello everyone, my name is Chris and today we've got our art and animation webinar as part of ICANN Network's Autism 2020 Virtual Expo. We have an extremely talented group of young autistic artists and animators today. You will be hearing from Narmi, Charlie, Charles, Alanna and John about their creations and talents. And then there'll be an opportunity for some live Q&A to learn how their autism allows them to show talents like this and how art or animation is a great escape for them. First, we've got Narmi speaking. Narmi is speaking on the topic of autistic Aboriginal artist.
My name is Narmi Collins-Widders. I'm a proud Aboriginal woman from the Anawin Nation. I go to PLC in Armidale and my interest is art. My first time I became passionate about art is probably at a very young age. Due to my autism, I had lack of communication, so how I would communicate with my parents and siblings was by drawing. For my drawings, it helps me get through everyday life basically. So it's like it calms my autism, because with my autism I do get very anxious and nervous and sometimes even angry. So it's just like my little safe place, sorry. And it's like I'm entering into a world where there's no rules, there's no worries in the world at all. It's just my own little safe place for me to like stay calm, relax, and just create something that brings a lot of happiness to most people. Oh, I probably love drawing characters. I like giving them a backstory and creating their personalities and how they react to certain situations, and I even like giving them little outfits and creating how their features look. So yeah, that's probably my favorite for sure. So this is one of my paintings I've done for my art, and this is the Pelican Dream story. So for this story, there's two pelicans that live either side of like Australia. I'm really bad at places, but basically they live far apart and they feel the need of finding someone and something that can relate to them, because they both have something similar. So one day they both travel across the lands, the oceans, and they eventually find each other and become very good friends. And in the paintings, this represents tribe or like area, town, and also here. So that represents the two different places. And these paintings actually, sorry, they go together. So then they eventually find each other. Why I think people should take interest in art is it could even maybe be an escape for them, because most people still don't know what makes them happy and still don't know what they're good at. And for me, I suggest this to a lot of people. If they're feeling angry or anxious, I'm like, just want to draw with me? And it really makes their day. And it also gives them a chance to feel powerful in a way, if that makes sense. And gives them the opportunity to create their own world where they feel safe. What I want to know about people knowing Aboriginal art is it's not just a few dots and lines on a canvas, it's something more than that. Each dot represents different things. Example, as this circle representing a tribe or area. And you could ask any elder about their Aboriginal work and they would say this has a story behind it. Each painting I've ever seen has a story behind it, and each story is different and teaches different lessons. And it also lets people know that we weren't just hunters and gatherers, we were storytellers, we were teachers, we were many more things. And it would be really good for people to understand that. I reckon how they would start for any type of art is finding the type of style they like, starting off by that, drawing every single day, or get into a habit of drawing at certain times, even when they're upset, anxious, angry, or just feeling bored, to get into the habit of finding the type of style they like and to practice it, to improve every single day, and eventually find out what you want to do. Because with art, there's not just one pathway, there's many pathways to go from, to being a tattoo artist, to drawing faces in the law, like in the court and all that. It's amazing what art can do. So yeah, my suggestion for people who are wanting to become an artist is to draw every day. My message to the other younger Aboriginal kids out there is, I know this world can be rough, and especially the racism or sorts of things they're going to be dealing with life, but is to keep going. There's always someone there to support you, and find something that makes you happy. Even if it's kicking the ball with the dogs in the backyard, or going to see family members, even having a yarn with the elders to learn more about your culture. My message is to don't forget who you are, and always be happy. Always have that smile on your face. Don't make people let you down. My message for the young autistic people out there is to never give up, to always stay happy, of course, and just to keep, oh, this one's a hard one, sorry. I have to think about this one. Ooh. Yeah, probably the same as the message to the Aboriginal people, just to don't let people make you down about your disability. How I see my disability, it's like a superpower. So for the young autistic people out there, you are a superhero, and keep shining, because you're eventually going to be a star one day.
Fantastic. Does anyone here have a question for Narmi?
How long did it take you to draw those pelicans? They look like it must have taken a while.
I think it only took me probably a few hours.
Really?
Yeah. Because the paint I use, it dries up very quickly. So yeah, I did a few layers and then started doing all the details. So yeah.
Okay. I'm terrible with detail work. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Narmi.
All good.
We're starting the expo with an acknowledgement to country, but I just want to give it now as well. I acknowledge traditional owners of the land and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to Narmi and Narmi's people. Can I now move to Charlie? Charlie. All right, so Charlie Jackman joins us today with the topic Charlie by Art.
Hello, my name is Charlie, and I'm almost 14 years old, and I'm in Year 7 at Old Newton Anglican Community College. I'm interested in art because of colour mostly, and I started to go to art classes a few years ago, and I loved it. I really love to use the flame colors red, yellow, and orange, like the chair here, in my artwork. And it makes me feel really satisfied and happy. And I mainly make paintings frequently by using watercolor and colored pencils. And I'm inspired by the artists David Hockney and MC Escher. My mom helps me turn my art into cards, and I sell them on my website. And my website address is www.charliebyart.com.au. And I have a Facebook and Instagram page too. Just search for Charlie by Art. And during lockdown, I couldn't go to my art classes. But I recently did a couple of isolation paintings, like the view out my window. And when I went on an excursion when I was in when I was in year 6 before, I met Daniel Andrews, who was the Premier of Victoria. And my mom works for him, and I met him at the end of the excursion when I went into my mom's office. And Dan found out about my art, and he asked me to do a piece of art for him that he could use to make his 2019 Christmas card. And the artwork I did had lots of famous places in the city, like the MCG, the Eureka Tower, Fed Square, Yarra River, Spirit of Tasmania, and the Government House. And in my artwork, I drew the underground, and underneath the city, there was a tunnel boring machine and a tunnel for trains, a dinosaur fossil, and a rainbow serpent. And the rainbow serpent is the artwork to represent the Indigenous history of Melbourne to protect the city. I also put a giant Christmas tree on the artwork, and it had beams coming out from the star. And this is my most famous art I've ever done. And Daniel Andrews put a picture of me and him and my art on his Facebook page. And I study art at school, and at the moment I'm doing clay sculptures. I also like creating graffiti artworks, and my school has lots of art subjects, and I will keep studying art and running my Charlie by Art business. And I have a couple artworks to show you. These are some of my cards. So I have a Panda card, and also a polar bear, a tsunami, and if you're out my window,
Nice.
and also a sunset as well. And I also did another sculpture. If you've heard of this book called Where the Wild Things Are, I did a sculpture of one, if you can see it. And here, this is also the drawing I did for Daniel Andrews. And thank you for listening to my presentation. Well, because because it's not someone else's choice, because it's your artwork, and you can draw on anything because it's just freedom that you can do. So it's all up to you when it's your artwork.
Excellent. Does anyone here have any questions for Charlie? Alanna.
I have a question. How did it feel when you found out your artwork was sent to Dan Andrews?
Well, on the first one, at least when I very first met him, I was very surprised about it before, but but the artwork, he must have been pretty happy with it as well. He's definitely seen it as well.
Hi, I'm Charles. I'm from Sydney Road Community School, and my topic is digital art. Woo! Well, I've always been obsessed with art from when I was like really young, pretty much since whenever I could pick up a pencil. I remember my mum telling me, oh, you used to be so bored and agitated and like crying all the time. And like the moment you started like reading and being able to pick up a pencil, you were just so much calmer and more interested in stuff. And then it just kind of evolved from there. I was really loving art in general. And I thought, well, when I got an iPad, the next step is digital art. So I tried doing that, and yeah, it just clicked. I really enjoyed it. Man, being so like the thing that makes me really passionate is just, it's sort of a release, sort of an escape. Like whenever I draw or whatever, I kind of just get so involved in the art and the question, and I'll just be in there for ages. And then I'll look up and hours have passed, and it's like, wow, how did I do this? What happened? I've missed so much. But like at the same time, I've created something, and I've sort of not really blacked out, but just kind of closed myself off and let myself just do the art. It's really therapeutic for me, and it's just something I enjoy. It helps me like explain my interests and like stuff like that. Yeah. So my style tends to vary a lot. So whenever I draw my creations, it sort of fluctuates a bit. I like to draw different sorts of stuff like this. This is a particular picture where thank you, Mom. This is a particular picture where I used a picture I took of myself as reference, just to try and get some proper reference for anatomy and stuff. Let's see, another one would be, I draw a lot of fan art and stuff. So I do a lot of horses and lots of My Little Pony, because it's a show that I really enjoy, and drawing the characters makes me feel like I'm sort of involved with it. And I draw a lot of my own characters as well. But I also I do a lot of, the thing I really enjoy about digital art is that there's so much options and stuff like that.
Do you feel similar to any of the characters that you draw?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really draw a lot of fan art and stuff because it really helps me connect with the characters. Like lots of different characters, like there are lots of autistic coded characters in animation and media these days, like Steven Universe, you've got Peridot, you've got She-Ra and the Princess of Power, you've got Entrapped, just lots of characters that really resonate with me, and drawing them helps me feel more connected to them in a way. Well, art has done so much for me. I think it can do so much for so many different people. I genuinely don't know where I'd be today if I didn't have art. It's honestly helped me out of so many dark places, and it's become so intertwined with my character and everything about it that I just, like, it's honestly a part of me. It can help so many people. It's helped me put into words my stuff that I can't really explain. It's helped me, yeah, it's honestly helped me a lot with my autism. Yeah, it helps with communication a lot, definitely. Well, the thing is, with animation, you honestly just got to start with art, because hang on, I'll show you an animation I have that I did a while ago. See, the thing is, I just kind of started doing it, and it's honestly just about starting. The thing about doing art is that you just start. You just got to start doing it, because there's no such thing as bad art. I think that's a social concept. You can draw the least detailed, smallest stick figure you can. There's no such thing as bad art, because art is an expression of yourself. Sure, there's stuff like being bad at realism or being bad at drawing animals in particular, but there's no such thing as being bad at art. So all you've got to really do is just put down a pencil and start drawing. Don't look up a tutorial. Don't try to immediately find your style. Just put down your pencil and start drawing.
Fantastic. Does anyone here have any questions for Charles?
Yes, I have a question. What's the technology and the things you use to make all the animation art?
Honestly, I just use an iPad Pro. It's like touch screen. It's really great. Professional grade stuff, you could usually use stuff like Adobe Photoshop and stuff like that. But I just use an app, Procreate. It's fantastic. Sounds a little sus, but it's really fantastic. It's just $10. It's amazing professional grade quality stuff like that. And yeah, you can draw. It's fantastic. It's great. I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Great job, Charles. Is there anything else you want to say, Charles?
Well, I think this is I think stuff like just about art, a lot of my queerness and I think autism has been expressed and become very intertwined with my art. It's a very good way to communicate things and find other people. It's a great way to find your people, basically find other neurodivergent people, find other LGBT people, because it's a great way to find people that you can relate to. So it's a really great way to do something like that. Yeah.
I think your presentation will give confidence to a lot of people. Thank you, Charles.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alanna Webb. I am 16 years old and go to John Paul College in Frankston. My interest I will be presenting to you is soft pastels and drawing. I use soft pastel as a calming method, so I don't go crazy with my mind. Soft pastels and drawing is calming. It makes you focus your thinking upon multiple things to concentrate upon the paper, medium, colours, and the picture. There are so many people demonstrating various techniques online or YouTube, or at an art show where you can ask questions of the artist, which is what I did the first time. Soft pastel is not normally seen in schools. The main pastel that has been used a lot in schools is oil pastel. Soft pastels are dustier than oil pastels and easier to blend on pastel paper. Pastel paper is rough because it's to give something for the pigments to grip onto in an image. A lot of Australian artists use soft pastels for scenery, while hard pastel is used for details of an animal. Soft pastel can be a special gift for a friend or family, but since soft pastel pigments does not set with the artwork of the images, it has to be framed from the framers. So as a recommendation, go to the closest frame stores near your area when the image is complete. Also use fixation spray and glassine paper to rub the image into the paper. There's a lot of similarities and differences between soft pastels and hard pastels. Soft pastels are easier to blend, as I mentioned earlier, great for landscaping images, can be used on any size. There's more pigments in the pastels. There's not a lot of binders in soft pastels, but the bad thing about soft pastels, it can crumble and break really easily. While hard pastels can scratch the paper, making it harder to blend, showing textures of animals. There's less pigment in hard pastels and can be used inside pastel pencils with the similar effect. I became so interested into soft pastels by an inspiration of the Australian pastel artist known as Lynn Melody. That picture on my title screen is one of her artworks, and I saw her make it. She used soft pastels for scenery from a visit in the country. I was also inspired by my grandma's chimpanzee pictures of it lying down asleep, and I thought I would like to start soft pastels technique. I have created many artworks that is based upon holidays. A lot of the holidays were near water-based areas. My first artwork is based upon the beach in Mornington near the boathouse. While my second artwork, which I'm presenting you now, is based upon the lake in Dalesford. A lot of other artworks is also based upon requested animals. One of my primary school teachers had a pug that she talks about every day and had requested me to do a pug pastel image. It was sounded really personal to me and my family. One of my aunts lost their cat near one Anzac Day, and as a birthday present, I have surprised her with the cat sleeping upon a cushion. My first picture with soft pastels was a seagull beach scenery, where it was presented at the Chelsea Art Show. The Chelsea Art Show is made by the Chelsea Rotary Club. That image on the Queen's birthday weekend. That image was a favourite to a lot of people with the seagull beach scenery. That one of the organisers purchased the image for $100, and I received $75 in return. The Rotary Club keeps 25% of the money as a donation. My favourite image by myself, my favourite soft pastel image that I have created was a swan image based upon the visit in Dalesford. The image which shows the depth of the feathery bird. The picture that I showed you a couple of slides ago was known as the Queen of the Lakes. That never went into any art show and was made as a personal artwork. After seeing another art show known as the Camberwell Art Show, I decided to grow my art technique with drawing. I use drawing with texture of the animal, including birds, which is this one right here. Here. One of my pencil drawings was a watercolor pencil art show, Dreams, is based upon someone sleeping in showing interest of what the girl is dreaming about. That image won first prize for year 7s to 9 in the Chelsea Art Show of 2019. For many years, I have used a lot of different sorts of drawing techniques that I used at school and at home. I drew an optical illusion with creating a spider web that has a lot of blocky patterns. I have used watercolor pencils, which was used for the Chelsea Art Show just last year. Cartoon drawings with graphite pencils or coloring pencils. So during isolation, I also used cartoon or gaming characters to improve my drawing techniques. I use stencil artwork for many nighttime animals and mythological animals. Thank you.
Oh, that was great. I loved the detailed names and that you'd named your art and that your guts to enter it into art shows. What did it take to enter art into art shows? Were you nervous when you did that the first time?
When I did it for the first time, I was nervous, and for the first few years, I insisted on doing it with my grandma, who also does soft pastels too.
And she drew the chimpanzees, is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
One of them was soft pastels, one was hard pastels.
Does anyone have any questions of Alanna?
I was wondering, how long does it take you to do your artworks?
It depends. Like for the pencil, it takes like between 10 to 15 minutes. For soft pastels, it'll take like over an hour and a half, and some takes more than a week.
Which pastel have you been using most frequently? Is it the soft one or the hard one? Which one's the most frequent that you've used?
I have been using a lot of soft pastels. Hard pastels doesn't work with me easy. I tried it and it keeps ripping the page.
Can I ask one last question of you, Alanna? What artwork or picture or painting are you working on at the moment?
For pastel, I'm in the middle of working on a dog picture for my aunt and uncle who's in Pakenham.
Excellent. We will leave it there. What a sensational presentation. Thank you for all the preparation, Alanna. We really appreciate it. I think a lot of people will be awe-inspired from your presentation.
My name's John. I go to MacKillop College. I'm in year 11. I'm 17, and I'm heavily intrigued with the art of animation. It's an interest that started around about the age of 3, according to my parents. It was predominantly a love kickstarted by classic Looney Tunes and Tex Avery cartoons, and it started with mainly doing stop motion in my bedroom with toys and other such matter that I had lying around. But one day I eventually got a Wacom tablet and I never looked back. My passion mainly just comes from the feeling of like chipping away an animation for an hour or more and then playing it back to see how it looks. It's a feeling equaled, in my opinion, by nothing else in the world. There are times where I feel like I want to give up after toiling away on a shot or like a specific drawing to make it look right for Lord knows how long. But when I play it back, my joy and motivation are reinvigorated once more. Here's the context to this one I'm about to show you is that it was at the family Christmas party, and I was like, I'd love to try and make an ad for a local business one day. And my uncle suggested, why don't you do an ad for where I work? It's a business a couple of hours from where I live. I decided to do an ad featuring my characters. All right, here we go. What do you think?
That was amazing. That was very, very clever. Wow. Do you want me to continue with the questions? John, would you like to take questions from your fellow listeners?
If anyone has a question, you can go ahead.
Did you ever watch Rocko's Modern Life? Because your animation reminds me a lot of that show.
That is one of my favorite shows. You have no idea.
I knew it.
That and like Chowder, Ed, Ed and Eddie, those are massive influences for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought so. I could definitely tell.
Charlie?
How long did it take you to make that?
It took about, I think it was 2 or 3 months to put together. My friend did the music for it, but I just did all the visuals and like photography. It's important because it gives a unique worldview. Other mediums simply can't really represent that well. And it connects with me because it's a medium you can go beyond the boundaries of imagination with. People should take an interest in it because it connects with everybody, from adults to children, no matter how old you may be. And I'm all for animation being taken more seriously as an art form. It's like, I would say, also what Charles said, you just simply just like, you do it. But you can also like, there's thousands of ways you can really like get going with it. There's special classes you can take for it at schools, like at AIE in Melbourne. You can search on the internet for different tutorials for animation, like the 12 principles of animation. And there's like a ton of books you can read from industry professionals like Richard Williams and Eric Goldberg.
All right. Does anyone have any further questions for John?
Oh, Narmi?
Sorry, I'm really slow at pressing the button. Are you seeing yourself in the future like doing big animation movies or even shows like that?
I'm currently like, I'm trying to like make shows, and I'm currently working on a few shows with some online friends. I'm just like a storyboard artist and an animator on them.
That's so mad. Well, like just then, even that was amazing. So I hope that really goes well.
Those characters are going to be appearing in something I'm making soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, this has been a hoot. Thank you so much. I feel very lucky to have met you all, and what talent, amazing talent.